Alright, let's take a look here. Ben, he's made an input-output machine. It uses two operations. There's the table. And we got to figure out what does Ben's machine do to each input number. Alright, so first of all, let's look at the pattern rule for the input. The input starts at 2 and then increases by 2 each time. And then let's look at the pattern rule for the output. Start at 13 and increase by 10 each time. If you look at that, these are increasing by 10s, right? And it just keeps going on. Alright, so we can use that as a little bit of a hint. As I told you before, sometimes, not all the time though, the output pattern gives you a little hint about what might be in the first part of your machine. So that's what I'm going to try first. It does work quite often, but it doesn't work all the time. But I got to check it out. That's my first step, is to check that out. So if it's increasing by 10, the output I'm talking about, it increases by 10 each time, you could try a times 10 in the first part of your machine. So that's what I'm going to test first. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I don't think it is, but I'm going to try it. So I'll put in my first input, 2, and remember I have to have a final output of 13. So if I do it, looking right now, well, I can do it always on the first try. It's 20. 2 times 10 is 20. And if I subtract 7, I'll get 13. I don't think it's going to work for my second input, though. But I got to check. 4 times 10 is 40. And 40 minus 7 is 33. Okay, so I proved that actually my first guess was wrong. But that's okay. That's what mathematics is all about. We're going to do guessing and testing. So, it didn't look far wrong, but it is wrong. So let's try something a little bit smaller. Instead of a times 10, let's try a times 5. So if I go 2 times 5, I get a 10. And remember, I have to get 13 as my output. So if I try and add 3, it might work. So let's try it. 10 plus 3 is 13. It will work the first time, but we have to double check and see if it works the second time. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 plus 3 is 23. Hey, it checked out. Let's try it for the third input. 6. 6 times 5 is 30, and 30 plus 3 is 33. So I've double checked it and I've triple checked it. It works. Those are the numbers and operations that go in that machine. So if I was to write a pattern rule that shows the relationship between input and output, I would have to say this. Multiply the input by 5 and then add 3. That's the pattern rule that describes this machine.